Good morning. So, what have these lovely markets got in store for us today? This is my first real look this morning. I'm slightly late into the office, and so we're going to be sharing it together. First things first, news-wise today, I'm just going to pop this up again and just look. I'm just going to actually click on Forex Factory here. Notice some of the data coming out yesterday wasn't really where some would have liked it, and certainly the manufacturing data, prices in particular, there it's disinflationary. So, it, well, you would expect it to have an impact on the dollar, but in fact, the dollar actually strengthened around this data coming out. It was about 3 o'clock, was it? Yeah, 3 o'clock. Data strengthened. Anyway. We do have speakers all the way through, even today actually. We go Lagarde speaking yesterday, but we do have speakers today already started. So there are a number of speakers. We've got Fed Chair, even Fed Chowell, speaking later due to participate in the panel discussion policy in ECB forum and central banking. Okay. This may just get a bit of influence, so we're not going to get specifics there, are we? And Lagarde must be speaking at the same event, I assume. Yeah, so same event going on there. Aside of that, this morning we just got to look at these core flash aspects at 10. We've seen the individual country ones, but anyway, just be wary of the data there at 10. That's about it for now today. Of course, we're building up to tomorrow with the non-farms, the early ones, and then Friday with proper non-farms. Anyway, let's get on and look at these markets more importantly. And the euro yesterday, it took a proper pop and drop there. It filled its gap eventually in the afternoon. Proper sort of start to the day, and then boom, off it came again. It's probably taken out many stops all the way through here. Where to at the moment? Technically, arguably, technically, what do you want to do? Argue or look at it technically? It's in a mix here. It's put some higher lows in. So this is confirmed higher low here. So it's put a proper higher low in. It's then switched and put a lower high in, and it's sitting there somewhere in between at the moment. It's closed its gap, of course. Let's look at it technically where the pivots are, and the pivot's going a bit weird here. But we've got what should be the daily pivot above there, just above us. Yep, that would make sense. It's a bit extended at the moment, but we've got the new quarterly pivot that's sitting around it at the moment as well. So we've got a new quarterly pivot starting, which is really having a bit of a reaction to the underside of that. Through the Asian session there. At the moment, it looks with this lower, more nearer term lower high, looks like it's got potential downside. It's a bit, as I say, a bit of an in-between. I would have liked to have seen this pivot, both pivots hit, and I'd feel more confident in looking at the short side. It's a bit of a muddle. This inflation later might just cause something more. The pound, what's going on here then? It's come away from the alleys for a moment and look, and we've seen the new monthly pivot hit. That's out of the way. From a swing basis, I was looking at this yesterday evening actually for a little while, or late afternoon, and just looking at these markets and thinking, well, there are some potential swings, and this just looks soft at the moment. Without any doubt, it did break the prior high then, but it's relatively momentarily on a spike more than anything else. But it does look a tad on the soft side. Of course, on 4th of July we've got the election later this week, so this is maybe going to leave the pound quite unsteady, even though it's widely expected that the Labour Party would take overall power, majority, and be in charge. It's any shocks to that system could have a bigger impact on the market, although I think it'd be more of a shock if they don't swing it by a major landslide there. But for now, a bit messy there on the pound, ugly on the hourlies. The yen, well, I should have just bought this the other week. Was it last week? I did a video on when to sell it, and it certainly wasn't now. And it's amazing how far this is going up without any significant intervention, or any intervention by the looks of it. It's just literally higher lows, higher highs. What happened there? Don't know what happened there. It might have just been that little spike there before it sorted itself out. But anyway, it's would like to be on the long side. Risk is, of course, any intervention, and the more it pushes up there, the more likelihood of at least chatter against intervention and maybe some action. But nothing happening there at the moment. Aussie dollar remains in this horrible zone of consolidation. There are some moves intraday on it, but it's see last week a complete mess there, and we've started the week as a complete mess, just to keep things running as normal. If anything, with the lower highs coming in here, it looks a tad on the soft side. Hasn't hit the daily pivot today, so a break back down below its S1 there, could see it running down towards the S2, and in particularly those previous lows there as a target. So we'll see how it kicks off this morning. US dollar CAD, do one thing at a time here, otherwise I upset it. US dollar CAD, well, it looks like this is now back into bounce. The bounce is really pushing through there. Has certainly happened on Friday there a little, and it's pushing back up there again yesterday quite solidly. The only thing is, at the top end here, we now got a divergence and an untouched daily pivot. It just looks like it could be a point of buying, but then you trigger the divergence and it's a mess. You've got conflicts basically. It looks like it's now, with the higher lows coming through on a number of time frames, looks like it's got more of a chance of continuing. But in the short term here, we've certainly got a divergence. I'll show you. You can click on here, double click, there we go. So it's not major there on the MACD, but certainly showing on the RSI divergence there, and just looks like that could roll. And if it triggers the low between the two highs, well, then it's triggered the divergence and it's got more chance of rolling off a little bit more. US New Zealand, I was looking at one stage thinking this has got more upside here, it's broken the trends, etc. So this is, there's a change on the New Zealand dollar. Sorry, I don't know why I was looking at Euro CAD there. I should have been looking at Euro New Zealand. There you go, that's better. That's what threw me. But the Euro really starting to pitch up there now. I was looking at it because there's this flaggy sort of price action that was occurring and moving off there, but it's pretty much gone and going. Higher lows coming through there. Need a bit more of a retracement on the Euro New Zealand. So New Zealand looking soft. I should look across a couple of the other majors, the cross pairs on that, but New Zealand certainly looking softer at this stage. Actually, from where it's sitting at the moment, it's just now below its quarterly pivot. S2 is not that far away, but it's just not a big enough target to go chasing that, or trading it, I should say. US dollar Swissy, so I was looking for upside on this. Well, it's just continued on the upside, so it's certainly pushing to the upside here as expected. And well, yesterday a bit spiky there, but certainly moving for further upside. Switch back now all of a sudden. See if I can get back again onto New Zealand Swissy. It's just changing currencies for me. Okay, higher highs, higher lows coming through. It's a shame today. I thought we might have got a bit of a movement, but now this is really messing me around again. I'm sure someone's sitting there in e-signal or whatever they trading view and just switching these round as I'm trying to use them. Anyway, looks like I might have to use some different charts. Right, this isn't working for me a moment. I shall look at the others in a short while. Let's just have a quick switch onto the indices and just spot out gold first. So gold, still in a real mess. Gold, right, quite tight, rangy, not interesting to me at all. Don't like it when it's doing this. Oil pitched up well yesterday, still pushing up there. Good excuse for the oil companies to put prices up again in the UK here at the pumps. Horrible price action on the 4-hourly here, quite rangy again. New quarterly pivot coming in there, so it's a bit in between the weekly pivot and the quarterly at the moment, between the rock and the hard place, as they say. Getting quite rangy on the lower time frames here from Friday into yesterday, and it's quite a rangy sort of price action there. Let's see what comes of it. But it's decided to go back to New Zealand dollar all of a sudden. Anyway, S&Ps, higher time frame. So S&P's just really not doing too much at the moment. It is around the more it hangs around the top like this, and it's double topped and pulling back a little bit here, the less I particularly like it. I think leading into towards the election, we could see more chop and uncertainty coming through on these equity markets maybe as well. So we could see more rangy sort of price action. I know it's November, so it's still quite some way away, but there seems to be a uncertainty for sure. Some of the numbers certainly unsure. Might have expected something more of a rally yesterday, but I'll have to look through and see if I've missed any other data that's slipped through the net there. Nasdaq also look lacking a clarity here. It is arguably, well, it is ranging there. Got a bit of a wedge, very unreliable wedges. And the Dow really ugly. These pincer sort of highs here, very ugly at the moment, looking soft. Never really recovered as much. Has got the higher lows through there, but it's just the intraday price action is awful. The DAX, this is looking soft. This was to close right now, it'd be a really nice little swing possibility to the short side here. Really not looking great. Just finding a bit of support there then to the weekly pivot. There's the new quarterly pivot just fractionally below where it's coming towards as well. So there's potential decent support there. A break of that area, because we have been putting higher lows in up into this time. It's now looking softer. A break of those levels there would see a structural change and maybe a bit more to the downside. The FTSE, no arguing where that's going, to the downside. Quite ugly at the moment. Again, this week's voting probably not helping it at all. Elections and lower highs, lower lows coming through. You can see in the French markets the uncertainty regarding the very right-wing sort of parties making more impact. Those right-wing parties, I mean, with Reform UK, etc., could have a bigger impact, obviously, in the UK, but not probably the impact at this stage that some would have hoped or maybe expected for if they're voting that way, because the middle party, Labour, probably got more chance of getting in there anyway. For now, right? Okay, so just looking at the FTSE here, finding a bit of support at the moment into its quarterly pivot. On the short term here, it's whether or not it can hold. If it carries on rolling over, or so be it. If it manages to hold back here, there is the potential for it to pull back towards its daily at some stage. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to wish you a great day's trading, and I'll catch you in the morning. Bye for now.